All flights in and out of Gatwick, Britain's second busiest airport, have been suspended after 2 drones were seen flying near the runway. 10,000 passengers have been affected, with many facing long delays. Flights have been diverted as far away as Paris and Amsterdam. Gatwick has apologised for any inconvenience but said safety was its foremost priority.
Drones, love them or hate them, have become the most technically advanced form of aerial photography and videography on the planet. A lot of people dislike drones as they are seen to invade privacy and have more recently been hated because of the recent disruption to airport that they've caused in late 2018. Drones, however, like all things, have a purpose, and when used by the right people can provide some of the most amazing aerial footage possible. The first ever proper use of aerial photography was during World War I. The Allied forces would fly biplanes over with cameras attached to the side to take photos of enemy lines from above. This provided some valuable intel from a new angle, as they could now see where they should attack and where they shouldn't. Since then, a lot of filmmakers have been using helicopters to film from above. Helicopters are still used today and are very handy as they can hover, and most can stay airborne for over 90 minutes. The main hassle with using helicopters to film is that you have to have a pilot and cinematographer set up separately. The logistics behind helicopters can also be quite tricky, as they have to take off at certain time and follow certain air traffic control procedures in order to get to the right place at the right time. If any of this stuff becomes incorrect, it can make shoots very expensive, as they have to redo stuff because the helicopters are not there when they need to be. Helicopters are also massively expensive to operate, as fuel, maintenance, pilots and other air taxes and fees add up. They also legally can't fly as low as drones, which means getting tracking shots can be a lot more tricky. Nowadays, a lot of filmmakers use drones instead of helicopters, as they are cheaper, more easy to fly, they can get them up anywhere at any time pretty much. This makes them a lot more spontaneous than helicopters, as they can be up in the air within minutes. Modern drones also come with 4K Ultra HD cameras as standard, which makes the imagery absolutely amazing. The main brand for drones at the moment is DJI. Their newer drones are super easy to fly. They have GPS and all sorts of things, which keeps them still in the air. So if a big gust of wind comes along, it will know to counteract that, so it will stay absolutely still. New drones can physically fly themselves, meaning that if they become disconnected, they will return to the point that they took off from. Along with being able to fly for over 30 minutes and having a lot of high-tech features, the latest drones from DJI have incredible cameras which can give stunning imagery of the surroundings. This is where cinematography comes in. With the advanced and lightweight cameras for drones, they can now film things in super high quality, which is now at the same quality as human-operated cameras used on helicopters. Frame rates and sensors in the inbuilt cameras have also improved significantly. My current drone can shoot 4K at 60 frames a second, meaning that you can slow it down in post-production to make the shots slow motion. The drone that I owned prior to this was made 3 years before and could only do 2.7K at 30 FPS. Both of these drones cost the same amount, which means DJI have advanced a lot in 3 years. All drones made by DJI also come with the latest gyro systems, along with GPS and camera gimbals, which will keep your drone steady in the air, meaning that you can take some super smooth shots. Due to the nature of drones, it's quite difficult to outline individuals, as it's more of a team effort. For large drone rigs, at least 2 people operate it. One person operates the camera while the other flies the drone in the correct flight path set up beforehand, so the drone is at the right place at the right time to get the best shot possible. Big films such as Skyfall have changed the way that people use drones in films. They use them in the first scene to track motorbikes across the rooftops, making shots that would take crane operators hours to complete. Wolf of Wall Street is another movie that hired a small production company to get some aerial shots. Most of the drone shots in the movie are used as establishing shots, but the use of drones means they can move the camera around freely in tighter spaces than a helicopter. So I've featured a lot of my own drone footage so far in this video, but this is some that I've edited down to some music. So I've taken one location and one song from one day and I've mixed it all together and kind of cut it to the beat of the music so it all flows nicely. Now if we actually focus on the specific drone shots themselves, you can see some we're panning, others we're moving backwards and forwards, but all of the time we're really focusing on moving the axes as much as possible. Now a lot of the time you'll see I'm flying parallel to different things, and the rest of the time I'll be flying around things to really show off the location that we're in, which is filmed in a local place in Dorset. Now this drone shot, as you can see, I'm moving the drone to the right while panning it to the left, and I'm also panning the camera itself down a little bit towards the floor, but only a little bit, and it just makes it really, really nice. So this was another video that I did of one of my friend's cars. I was actually sat in the front seat while flying my drone, and it made it a little bit weird because obviously I was moving and seeing myself at the same time, which was a bit off-putting, but I managed to do it. I managed to get some nice sleek shots with me sat in the car, and yeah, basically with this drone video, I don't think I got my drone close enough to the car a lot of the time, but it really did incorporate those nice surroundings. You kind of win and lose both ways, but I guess if you're focusing more on the car, you should get a lot closer to it, which I did later on in the video. As you can see, a lot of the drone shots, I'm tracking the car itself, which is nice to see, and I got better as we got to the end of the video, which was nice. So in this short amount of time, I managed to learn quite a lot actually about filming a drone with a car. This drone shot is probably the best one. I go from one side to the other of the road, I get really, really low and it just looks nice. Other ones are kind of moving either away from it, so it's almost as if the car is chasing me or I'm following it. This is another super, super nice one. And again, I'm keeping it in flow with the music, so if it cuts out, the video will cut out and then cut back in with this nice drop shot here, which is probably the best one. I like how the car disappears behind the trees and then comes back out.
We started using the original Phantom before they started designing gimbals. Just the ability to get a different angle and a different perspective, and certainly sort of like flying low with the camera down, and then sort of as you're coming up, panning up to reveal, which is always quite a nice one. Or trying to do like an orbit shot around some of the point of view that you're trying to do. But there's a lot of automatic sort of tracking now you can get, which helps you do that so a little bit easier. If you're going to be doing this as a professional sort of job, then you have to go and get your drone license. But as a sort of hobbyist, I think you just have to be aware of any safety hazards and stuff like that. Certainly sort of could be considerate about where you're flying in relationship to people, buildings, being aware of or noticing about aircraft as well, because the worst thing to do is you're flying around and then all of a sudden a helicopter or a plane comes out of nowhere and you could cause an accident.
So anyone can go out and buy a drone and probably get it up in the air, but there are a lot of techniques that surround the filming. Access is a big part of drone cinematography. To get the most interesting shots, you need to move as many as possible at once. For example, a simple drone shot moving forwards will be made a lot more interesting if the camera tilts down towards a subject. Adding to this, if you increase or decrease the altitude of the drone, it can make it look a lot more cinematic. There are thousands of combinations possible for different drone shots depending on what you want. For a car video, it's best to get low to the ground and follow or be chased by the car. So there we go, drones are easy to fly, but really difficult to get a good video clip, as there are a lot of physical things that you need to do when operating the camera. For different scenic videos, it can be good to get high and low to really show off the surroundings, and there are thousands and thousands of different ways to do this. Multi-skilling is definitely an essential skill to have for a pilot. Not only do they need to see where the drone is going and make sure it doesn't cross paths with anything potentially dangerous, they also need to get cinematic shots. Therefore, I think a lot of people need to understand that there is a lot of good stuff that comes out of drone flying. Drones are only good in the right hands.